Chapter 3, Two Stories About Flying. Today I'll be taking up the exercise of the chapter. Question number 1. How did the writer get out of the storm in the night to land safely? The writer was flying his old Dakota aeroplane when he saw the black clouds. He was lost in the storm. Suddenly, he saw a black aeroplane by his side which had no lights on its wings. The pilot instructed the writer to follow as he had lost the way. He obeyed him like a child and he was very happy to follow him. After some time, the pilot of another plane started to land. The writer followed him blindly through the storm and came out of the clouds. He saw the lights of the runway and landed safely. Question number 2. Why was the writer happy when he decided to fly in the night? The writer was very happy when he decided to fly that night because he was going home to his family to enjoy his holiday. When he started, everything seemed to be perfect. The sky was clear, no clouds could be seen. He was flying back to England in his old Dakota aeroplane over France. He was happy being alone in the sky and was dreaming of his holiday. The black aeroplane is a mystery story. Explain. Do you agree that the story The Black Aeroplane is a mystery? Justify your answer. Yes, definitely. The black aeroplane is a mystery. The pilot of Dakota was caught in the storm. He was helpless as his instruments had stopped functioning. He did not know what to do. Suddenly, he saw a black aeroplane flying next to him. It was a strange plane flying in the storm without lights. The pilot of the black aeroplane helped him in landing safe. On landing, he turned back to look for the friend, but he had disappeared. The black aeroplane had gone. The lady in the control center told him he was the only person who was flying that night. There is no other aeroplane. He could not understand who helped him. It was a big mystery for him. Fourth question. Define the values that reflect from the action of the pilot of old Dakota aeroplane when he wanted to thank the pilot of the black aeroplane. This question can be asked in this way also. The pilot wanted to thank another pilot after his safe landing. Why? What values of the writer are reflected from his action? The pilot of the old Dakota was caught in the storm. He lost his contact with the control room. In this troubled situation, his fuel tank was empty. He lost all hopes, but suddenly a strange black plane appeared. The pilot of the black plane asked the writer to follow him. The writer landed safely. After his safe landing, he wanted to thank the pilot of the black aeroplane. This shows his gratitude towards the pilot of the black aeroplane. he was thankful for saving his life. This shows the pilot of Dakota had a value of gratefulness. So, the value we learn is have gratitude. When somebody helps you, have gratitude. Next we have extract based question. First question. The moon was coming up in the east behind me and the stars were shining in the clear sky above me. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. I was happy to be alone high above the sleeping countryside. I was flying my old Dakota aeroplane over France back to England. I was dreaming of my holiday and looking forward to be with my family. I looked in my watch 1:30 in the morning. Now we have the questions. Who is me in the passage? What does he mean by the clear sky? What was he dreaming about? Where was he flying the old Dakota? Me and I refer to the pilot flying the Dakota aeroplane. By clear sky, he means that the stars were shining and there were no clouds in the sky. He was dreaming about his pleasant holiday and how he will be with his family soon. He was flying the old Dakota over France back to England. Extract number 2. I should call Paris control room, I thought, as I looked down past the nose of the aeroplane. I saw lights of big city in front of me. I switched on the radio and said, Paris control Dakota DS 088 here. Can you hear me? I am on my way to England, over. The voice from the radio answered me immediately. DS 088, can you hear? You ought to turn 12° west, DS 088 over. I checked the map and the compass, switched over to my second and last fuel tank and turned Dakota 12° west towards England. Questions. Why did he make a call to Paris control room? What advice did he get from the control room? How many fuel tanks were there in his plane? What did he see in front of him? Answers. He made a call to Paris control room to inform about his condition and the flight. The control room advised him to turn 12 degrees west. He had 2 fuel tanks in his aeroplane. He saw the light of a big city in front of him. Read the following and answer the questions. Extract based questions. Question number 1. The young seagull was alone on his ledge. His 2 brothers and his sister had suddenly flown away the day before. He had been afraid to fly with them. Somehow, when he had taken a little run forward to the brink of the ledge and attempted to flap his wings, he became afraid. The great expanse of sea stretched down beneath, and it was such a long way down, miles down. He felt certain that his wings would never support him, so he bent his head and ran away back to the little hole under the ledge where he slept at night. Even when each of his brothers and his little sisters, whose wings were far shorter than his, ran to the brink, flapped their wings, and flew away, he failed to muster up courage to take that plunge which appeared to him so desperate. His father and his mother had come round calling to him shrilly, upbraiding him, threatening to let him starve on his ledge unless he flew away. But for the life of him, he could not move. Questions. Why was the young seagull alone? Why did he not fly with his brothers and sister? Where did he sleep that night? How did his parents try to make him fly? Answers. The young seagull was alone because his two brothers and sister had already flown away the day before. He did not fly with his brothers and sister because he was afraid. He slept a little hole under the ledge. So he was sleeping in a little hole under the ledge. They invited him encouragingly. They also threatened him that he would die of hunger if he did not fly. Next extract. That was 24 hours. Since then, nobody had come near him. The day before, all day long, he had watched his parents flying about with his brothers and sister, perfecting them in the art of flight, teaching them how to skim the waves, how to dive for fish. He had, in fact, seen his older brother catch his first herring and devour it. Devour means eating. Standing on a rock while his brothers circled round, raising a proud cackle. Cackle is the cry of a bird. And all the morning, the whole family had walked about on the big plateau midway down the opposite cliff, taunting him for his cowardice. Questions. What had happened 24 hours ago? What did the young seagull watch all day? What did his brothers do? Why did his family taunt the young seagull? Answers. 24 hours ago, the seagull was left alone. His parents, brothers, and sisters had flown away. The young seagull watched all day his brother and sister flying over the sea. His brother caught his first fish. His family taunted the young seagull for his cowardice. What methods were used by the seagull's family to help him overcome his fear of flying. The young seagull was scared of flying. His brothers and sisters had started flying, but he could not muster courage to do so. His parents scolded him shrilly and threatened to let him starve on the ledge unless he flew away. When his family left him, he felt the pangs of hunger. Next day, when his mother, with a piece of fish in her beak, came, he begged her for food. She flew across him, but halted or stopped when the piece of fish in her beak was just within the reach of the young seagull. The young seagull dived at the fish, but now her mother swooped upwards. Gradually, his fear of flying was over and he enjoyed it now. The young seagull was trying to find some reasons of reacting his parents without having to fly. Was he successful in doing so? After being left alone in his family, the young seagull was hungry. So he wanted to join his family on the plateau. But he could not do so unless he tried to fly. As he was afraid of flying, he was trying to find some other means to reach them. But on each side of him, the ledge ended in a steep fall in a vertical cliff with the sea below. Moreover, between him and his parents was a deep, wide crack in the earth. He could not reach them without flying. If he could move towards north along with the steep rock, there was no ledge and he could not fly, and above him he could see nothing. The vertical cliff was very steep and the top of it was perhaps farther away from the sea beneath him, so he was not able to reach them without flying. Next question. Do you think hunger was a good motivation for the young seagull in his first flight? Comment. Yes, I think hunger played a vital role in the seagull's attempt to make his first flight. He was left alone on the ledge by his family because he could not fly with them. His parents scolded him in a shrill voice, threatened him of starvation, but he was still afraid to fly. Then they left him alone. He was so hungry that he had to live on whatever he could find there. When he saw his mother with a piece of fish in her beak, he begged her for food, but there was no response. Then he uttered a joyful scream when he saw his mother flying across him with a piece of fish in her beak. But she stopped when she came opposite to him. When the seagull realized that she won't come nearer and he was maddened by hunger, he dived at the fish, and this was his first attempt to fly. Gradually, when his hesitation and fear was removed, he started flying, which he enjoyed very much. So, definitely, hunger was a good motivation for the seagull to make his first flight. Thank you.
Cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. With these famous lines of Martin Luther King Jr., I would like to start up my speech. A very pleasant morning to all. Respected Asha ma'am and all my dear friends. Today, it's me, Cadet Pratyush Pandey from 10th class, would like to speak on the topic, Science is a good servant but a bad master. We today reveal in the idea that we are living in the world of science, and science can work wonders for us. True it is that science has revolutionized modern life. What our forefathers half a century ago could not even dream of, we have that at our back and call electricity. Electricity is a wonder, and it is doing would have appeared to be a fairy tale for our forefathers. A button is pressed and the room gets flooded with light. The fan moves, AC cools or warms the room. Water is boiled or cooled even in frozen. Eatables can be preserved for days, and even it has helped a lot in the medical sector. Like artificial limbs can be fitted to the disabled bodies. Even kidneys and heart are being transplanted. Painless operations are being performed. We have begun to feel that life without modern scientific gadgets is impossible. True that all this has happened, and we feel beholden to science and the scientist. But there is another side of the picture too. The man has become a slave to the machines. Human labor has been minimized, but that has led to a more luxurious living and less of physical activities. Mankind has begun suffering from such ailments which our hard-working forefathers never knew of. More and more uses of machines has led to large-scale unemployment. The pesticides and germicides used in saving the crops are sending out such alarming signals as demolishing and dismantling the ozone layer, which was protecting the earth from the evil effects of the sun rays. World is getting exposed to the situation of great alarm and danger. The atomic energy is being used for destructive purposes, and the nuclear explosions are causing radiations which are fatal for mankind. Can we forget what happened to Nagasaki and Hiroshima in Japan during Second World War? Do we want to repeat it again? According to the science, there is no superpower or divine power which controls us. But the naturalist Charles Darwin had said in his Darwinian theory of evolution that there is some creator, the superpower far too superior, which has created the universe. And good or bad actions invite rewards or punishments to us in the form of heaven and hell. As in is still a mystery for the science and scientists and the world to solve. Thus, in my conclusion, I would like to say that let science serve for the betterment of human mankind, because we all know about the future of machines and the robots in the world, and the condition of living creature and the human during that era. Therefore, science should serve the mankind, not rule over it, because science is a good servant but a very, very bad master. Thus, I would like to end up my speech by quoting Albert Einstein. The true sign of intelligence is not the knowledge but imagination. I would like to repeat, the true sign of the intelligence is not the knowledge but the imagination. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.